Hey guys, welcome to There Goes the No Hitter. We're back with our MLB preview on Sports Daddy TV. We're gonna preview a little bit of stuff with MLB rule changes, look into the WBCs going on right now, give our picks. But I can't do this by myself, so I'm gonna have to bring in my co-host, El Toro himself. What's going on, El Toro? How you doing?
Not much, man. Just coming out on my darkness retreat.
There you go. Yeah. Did you
A
decide
la
to jump ship?
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's another story for another day. We'll need to get two wallets on here. He can talk about
Oh,
that
don't
because
even get him started.
he can talk about that. But
Oh.
yeah, so World Baseball Classic is happening right now, and I'm surprised that you don't have your Mexico hat on.
It's
As
on its
in
way. It's on its way.
tomorrow, it's going to be my Puerto Rican team versus your Mexican team.
Oh, yeah.
And people, but they're like, I thought you were Mexican. I said, it depends on what coast I'm on. So since I'm on the East Coast and I'm in Orlando, Central Florida, which is nothing but Puerto Ricans, I'm gonna sport my Puerto Rican side.
And a lot of
If
Cubans,
I
too, right?
down south, yeah,
Yeah.
they're gonna be that's gonna be nuts soon. But
On you.
so World Baseball Classic is going down. So it's gonna be Puerto Rico versus Mexico tomorrow. How you looking? I mean, Mexico won that. They won the pool. I didn't see
Yeah.
that coming. They
Yeah,
beat the
they beat the
U.S. and
U.S., and they edged them out as far as run differential. So that was good. I like our chances, man. I really like the roster that they put together. Pretty well balanced, good pitching, good hitting, and Arroz Arena is on fire right now. So hopefully he keeps it going, and he can carry Mexico all the way to the championship.
well, Puerto Rico's already going to be out with their big star, right? If you're a New York Met fan right now, cover your ears because Edwin Diaz, fortunately, out for the year, gets hurt celebrating the last out to
That was
beat
so bizarre.
the big strong Dominican Republic, and
Such a freak
sure enough,
injury, man. I mean,
it was. It's like they were just jumping up and down, and next
jumping
thing you
for
know, he's
joy.
on the ground. He's on the ground,
Yeah.
and you
One
send me
minute,
a
one minute
yeah
they're jumping for joy, and the next they're trying to help their teammate off the field.
yeah. I mean, you send me a video clip of back in the Angels when Eric was it when Morales.
Yeah, Kendry
Eric
Morales had a similar injury.
had a
But
home run.
he was running the bases, and when he got to home plate, he decided to hop to home plate, and I think he tore his ACL. Yeah, disastrous. I mean,
So yeah, it looks like he. Uh, yeah, Edwin Diaz tore, I guess, some kind of ligament in his knee, so he's going to be out for, I mean, at least 8 months. So he's out for the season for the Mets.
Mets fans
But
are not happy.
but yeah. So we already have two teams in the semifinals. Oddly enough, right? Because they've been doing games so early in the morning. If it's really early for you, it's like people are going to bed. What 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I recorded the Japan-Italy game because there's no way I was going to get up to watch that live.
Yeah, because I didn't even get up to watch that live. I mean, it was at 6, but that's because staying up to watch the ending of those USA games, it's like I'm only gonna have like 4 hours of sleep. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that. Even though I'm off for a week, I still don't want to do that. That's a lot of baseball to watch.
That's rough.
But so we have Cuba and Japan going to Miami. So Cuba is their first time ever playing in America, playing a game in they're in and now it's in Miami. it's a bunch of Cubans and Cubans
yeah.
over that place.
That's like home field advantage right there for them.
It should be. And know what the funny part is this. I was mentioning this to my mom. She says, why don't the Miami Marlins capitalize on getting a key guy from Cuba or Puerto Rico or even the Dominican? You can even add Venezuela or even Israel and build around him because there's so much popularity. Because I don't want to hear Miami fans don't go to baseball games. It's just they don't go to Marlin games because they're horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, they've done that in the past. If you remember the Hernandez brothers, Levan Hernandez
Yes.
was very popular every time he would pitch, much like when Fernando Valenzuela and Fernando Mania started here with the Dodgers in the 80s. All the the Cuban fans would go out to see the Hernandez brothers, and all the Mexican fans out here would go out to see Fernando Valenzuela pitch.
But that's what I mean, though. They should get a rookie, right? They should put a now. Granted, I think the late and great Jose Fernandez was probably about to put Miami, the Hispanic culture, on the map, except for his tragic loss in the boating accident. But I mean, and I know that the Ozzie Guillen thing with Cuba and the whole comments he made kind of set them back.
Involved.
A lot of politics involved. But baseball is fun over there. I mean, I couldn't get a ticket to go over there. I was like, no, they were sold out. It was crazy, and I can only imagine if it was like, say, Cuba versus Puerto Rico. Oh my goodness gracious, or even Mexico, or Venezuela. They're saying that Miami is key because all four of those teams in Pool D are all around the Florida area. Like certain cities in Florida, that Central Florida is pretty much little Puerto Rico, and then there was like somewhere down south is South Florida is like really Jewish for Israel, and then there was like another place they call Little San Juan, and then there's another place for Nicaragua, and then there was a Venezuela team, the team in Venezuela. They're like it was like perfect for that area. It was just crazy.
Demographics kind of shift.
Yeah, it was like they knew what they were doing. It would be like if they would have put Mexico at Dodger Stadium instead of Arizona.
A big draw.
It would have been huge, right? Or maybe even maybe they went to Arlington. They might have had a bigger draw. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think now U.S. game was like 90% Mexican fan.
Yeah, even Arizona, right? In Arizona,
Mexican
fans outnumbered the the American fans.
So what team in the WBC so far has caught your eye as far as surprisingly well so far?
Surprising team to me. Well, I'll tell you this. I was very surprised that the Dominican Republic didn't advance. That was surprising. I mean, that group was probably the group of death. Just the way that it was constructed. You knew that one good team was going to be left out. And the team that surprised me is obviously Venezuela. I mean, undefeated so far, 4-0. Altuve is a spark plug of that team. And I mean, they've been playing out of their minds. I don't think that they can continue having this type of success. At some point, their luck is going to run out. I really thought initially that prior to the tournament, I thought Puerto Rico and the DR would advance. So yeah, Venezuela has definitely been the huge surprise for me.
I have to concur because Venezuela they never beat Dominican Republic. They didn't. They were getting dominated by Puerto Rico, and for them to win a good game against Dominican Republic, they didn't run away with it, but they sure did the Puerto Rico game, and that was shocking. I don't know what happened, but Berrios couldn't even get out of one inning. He pitched an inning and an inning, and he didn't even get an out in the second inning. I think he was really struggling. They capitalized them. Maybe it's the Miguel Cabrera maybe because it's a swan song this year. He's retiring,
Yeah.
so maybe he's gonna
I,
go
I
out
like
with
I like how they still call him Miguelito.
yes, yes,
Even though,
Miguelito.
I mean, he's probably the oldest guy on the team. They still call him Miguelito, like he's a little kid. That's man,
Yeah,
that's hilarious to
yeah.
me.
I gotta say that. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you though. Venezuela is probably the team that shocks that's shocking me as far as where they're at, and USA is gonna have a big, big, big hill to climb against this team because I
Yeah.
think Venezuela can be USA can beat them, but it depends on their pitching and if they can hit.
Yeah. Yeah, pitching
So
is lacking for the U.S.
yes,
I mean, they were exposed against Mexico. That game in Mexico, the game against Mexico exposed the lack of pitching that
right,
the U.S.
and and
had.
and and, and Colombia too. I mean, I know that you got to give it up to Colombia. They're right there. If they were in a different bracket, say maybe even the far east, if they played in the Tokyo bracket, maybe they advance. They're really close to get there. Um, we'll see what happens. I'm hoping unfortunately they have to qualify now. They have to qualify for the 2026 Olympic. I mean 2026 World Baseball Classic. The team that obviously that shockingly enough that doesn't. Well, let me rephrase that. The teams that finish dead last in their pool, they have to requalify. So if I look at the standings real quick, Chinese Taipei, China, Colombia, and Nicaragua all have to requalify. The team that doesn't have to requalify is a team that's rebuilding. And they showed that coach, that manager more on the field. I think he was more nervous not even playing the game than both coaches, the Great Britain coach, because now they qualified because they didn't finish last, and now he has 3 solid years to build a team up to say, look, we are going to concentrate on the World Baseball Classic come 2026, and I guarantee they might shock somebody this year.
Can we
That year.
talk about? Can we talk about their uniforms?
Yes,
I
we
mean,
can. Let
come
me
on,
say this.
come on.
My wife has a cricket. Great Britain, I could design you a better jersey and I'll silk screen it and I'll send it over there. Okay? Cuz I think
I mean,
one of the games the T in Great Britain fell off the guy's jersey.
it was embarrassing.
Now some of these jerseys are out of hand because in the Venezuela game the two of the pitchers the jerseys popped open. Like while they're pitching, I think one of the announcers said you might as well take the jersey off. Just pitch
This
without
is
the
something
jersey
you would
on.
expect to see with a little league team. I mean,
Yes,
it's
yes.
embarrassing. Come on.
It was pretty embarrassing. I seen people, it sounds like all they did was go on Word and went to a font and hit Times Roman bold 28 at 28 and just printed it on. So I'm hoping that they get a little bit better.
Terrible, terrible, as
But
Chuck would say.
again, now hopefully now that they know that they're going to be in the classic, maybe the funding will come a little more because they're just brand new. They're just building it up from the bottom up. So, I mean, for a country that is
Come on, royal family. Come on now.
well, we'll see. Hopefully they'll help them out. But so who's your prediction, real quick, to win this whole thing? Who do you think will win this whole thing?
You want my honest or my bias?
Well, okay.
Bias.
Obviously, your biased position is going to be Mexico. I get
You know
it.
what? Actually, my unbiased opinion is I think that you're gonna hate me for this because you're wearing your Puerto Rico hat and all, and Mexico right now is clicking on all cylinders. The way that they dominated the U.S. That was pretty impressive. I think this is the best roster that Mexico has put together. Typically in the past, it's like, maybe one or two major leaguers kind of just to lead the young guys. But it seems like, well, every squad has put their dream team, so to speak, together. You have, the rosters are full of all of these all-stars. I mean, Mexico, like I said, they have a well-balanced team there. I was worried that after Julio Urias, who is our ace, obviously, that our pitching was going to fall off. But I must say that I was very surprised with Pablo Sandoval, who apparently pitches for the Angels, left-hander. I guess he was a rookie last year. He was pretty impressive. I must say I was impressed with his performance. And then to follow that up, we have Walker, who also was solid in his start. And then on top of that, you have the pitcher from the Astros. His name escapes you right now. Starts with a U. I mean, those arms right there should be enough to carry you to the final. And I mean, the hitting
Jose
Urquidy, yeah,
Urquidy.
yeah,
That's who.
Urquidy, yeah. He's solid arm, man. I mean, you got these guys throwing some nasty stuff. High velocity. Up in the mid 90s. They're pretty filthy pitching, and our hitting, led by Rosarena and Meneses. I think that Mexico has enough. I mean, Puerto Rico is very talented as well. I mean, goes without saying.
Austin Barnes.
Yeah. Hey, our Dodger catcher, has filled in quite nicely. I mean, he catches Urias really well. I mean, he's very familiar with him. So that's gonna be quite a matchup, man. I think you guys have who's on the mound for you guys tomorrow? I know we have Urias. I believe you guys are going to, if I'm not mistaken, who's is it the pitcher for the Mets, Stroman, I believe? I think it's Stroman.
It's it's the TBD.
Yeah, no. I think they announced Stroman was going to start for the U.S.
So right now,
I like him. Stroman kind of reminds me a little bit of Pedro Martinez. He's a small in stature, but he has a really, really strong arm, man. I mean, Mexico's going to have the work cut out for them. It's not going to be easy. Puerto Rico is not going to, allow them to just, walk through them. So it's gonna be a challenge.
Here's the thing: is Julio looked great 2 innings against USA the other day when he pitched, and then he had that one bad inning.
Yeah.
Right. Again, was it?
Well, his first start
against Colombia,
first start, he had a no-hitter going into the 5th against Colombia, and then it just fell apart after that.
Right. Was it the 5th?
Yeah, he was well into the 5th, and he had a no-hitter going.
Because I remember I text I text my family and I said, if he pitches like this, he's already pitching great, and it's only in March.
That's a good sign for the Dodgers.
It's a really good sign, but
his spring training, so to speak.
If we could if our bats stay alive the way they were, with Baez and Lindor and Mercado, and and Rosario, so but yeah, Marcus Stroman is funny because I saw a meme that's had him because he pitched for the USA the year they won and they beat Puerto Rico, and now he's flip-flop and he's going to play for Puerto Rico.
Hey, double citizenship, man.
Yep. So you play where you want to play, I guess. But yeah. So as far as website went, it was TBD, but I wouldn't doubt that it's Marcus Stroman tomorrow, pitching for Puerto Rico.
Good matchup. Pretty good.
It is very good matchup. And as far as the U.S. goes, there is nobody yet. They have not said anybody for either team.
Yeah, Venezuela on Saturday.
However, there is a guy on Venezuela that has been really great, and he's going to be even great when he puts on the Blues,
It's gonna be a
because
Dodger,
I
right?
believe he's a Dodger, and I'm talking about David Peralta. David Peralta
Yeah.
has been playing pretty well
Yeah, we picked him up. That's right.
for the Classic. So in the baseball Classic, he's been pretty. I don't have his stats, but he's been pretty good so far in the Classic. So
Yeah,
uh,
I recall seeing him with Arizona a few years back. Pretty solid outfielder. Um,
he
pretty
might
good
be that
hitter.
nice utility outfielder that be able to get Mookie a
Yeah,
break here and there, and a couple of other guys find his way maybe even in the
yeah.
starting
We
lineup.
got a lot of young guys down the pipe.
All right.
With James Outman,
Yes.
um, and so yeah, he'll be filling in for those guys. Some spot starts here and there, but I
All
think
right.
yeah, we definitely have a surplus of outfielders, which
Yeah.
is not a bad thing.
So my
Yeah,
dark horse for the Classic is going to be Venezuela. I think I would like to see them, just because they haven't done really well in this tournament, for them to actually get maybe to the semifinals or finals
yeah,
would be great.
yeah. They've come a long
Obviously,
way in baseball, man. I mean, they've
obviously,
really grown. Uh,
obviously Cuba as well. But I think the favorites got to be Japan, because I mean they're just beating everybody,
Shohei
and
Ohtani is single-handedly carrying that team.
yeah.
I
So
mean,
I
he's
mean
doing it all.
they're just beating everybody, and they'll play qualifier for winner. So I believe they're going to be playing the winner of USA and Venezuela, and the winner between Puerto Rico and Mexico play Cuba.
So potentially there could be a rematch, right?
It
I
could be
mean, Mexico could potentially face the U.S. again in the final.
right,
So,
or the same thing with Puerto Rico, because it'd be the final again.
and they
But
played each other also
potentially,
in the final. So that would be either way. Either way, it's going to be interesting to see, how it plays out.
yeah. Because let me tell you though, Cuba versus that place is going to be nuts in Miami. That place is going to be going crazy.
Coño, coño.
That place is going to be going crazy on uh on Sunday.
But
Sunday
yeah,
that
man,
game's gonna
these
be going
early
nuts.
games, I need some Cuban coffee to watch these live because I
Well,
mean,
you don't have to worry about that now. Now
oh yeah,
they're on at 4 o'clock
you
for
say
yourself.
forward, they're reasonable time.
They'll be on at 4 for you.
Yeah, that's perfect.
It's not a bad thing, right? So
That's
all
perfect.
right, so let's get into these MLB rule changes. Now, I went to a spring training game this past week. Uh, the Tigers play about 30 minutes, 40 minutes away from where I'm at, their spring training. So I said, the wife, we went Sunday, went to the game, and had great seats. I was right 4 rows from the third baseline, so it was right there. And it's a minor league team, minor league stadium. In fact, I believe we're going to become the Flying Tigers, the single A, the single A affiliate for the Detroit Tigers. Just because we're here. Now I'm not going to become a Tigers fan. Now I'm just going to root for them. They're minor league team, just because I can see baseball better
They're
than driving all the
affiliate.
way down. Better than driving all the way down to Tampa. So when I went there for the first couple innings, I saw myself looking at the clock, and I was looking at the clock to see if the guy wasn't ready before 8 seconds. Not necessarily if the pitcher was ready by 20, but if the guy was ready by 8. And there was some times where I swore I saw 7 seconds and the batter was still twirling his bat, but they didn't call it. So I was like, okay, well, maybe he's in the
They
box.
didn't enforce it.
They didn't enforce it. Now, he was in the box. He just wasn't at a stance. So I was like, okay. But to me, the funny thing is, that game ended up going. I think there was a runner at second, the Twins were making a comeback, and they were down 1 run, and the batter was called out for a violation in the game.
I mean,
So we've seen that a lot this year.
that could be potentially a disaster. You imagine in a World Series, something like this, affects the outcome of a game. I mean, to me, it would ruin my experience as a as a baseball fan. I mean, call me old fashioned,
Okay,
you know, a
so
purist or whatever, but to me, that's the beauty of baseball, man. I mean, I don't know. I think it's going to ruin the full baseball experience. I mean, I get it. This is a TikTok generation, and they have short attention spans, and they want to attract young fans. But I don't think this is I don't think this is going to attract those young fans, anyways. I think it's just going to ruin it for us old farts who enjoy
okay,
going to the game and not having to worry about clocks or time, because that's the beauty of baseball. You kind of just get lost in it, and it just
yeah.
has its own flow, you know.
All right. So in an 8-7 game, how long do you think the game was?
I mean, I would hope that with the rule changes, the idea was to cut down in time, so maybe 2.5 hours.
Yeah, you're close. 240.
Yeah, I mean, then that's the idea, right? They want to cut down on these
So
3-4 hour games.
in a normal 8-7 spring training game, the game started at 1. I probably would have been until at least 4:30, 5 o'clock, almost maybe.
So let me ask you: did the clocks and the new rule did it enhance your
No,
That's
no,
what I thought.
no.
That's
After the first couple innings, you get into the game, and then you just start watching the game, and you totally forget about the clock.
so it didn't ruin your experience as far
It
as
didn't. It didn't. To me, it didn't
okay.
because maybe because I'm a baseball guy, so I just wanted the first couple innings. I wanted to see how well the clock was,
Yeah.
how well it was, because I was like, okay, let me take it in and let me look at the clock and let me try to see how is this gonna mess up me up. Am I gonna be like when I watch the NBA where I'm looking at the shot clock and I'm like, oh, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'll throw the ball. No. I The only thing is there's a lot more stolen bases, and that's the fun part. Stolen bases are going to go up this season, not just because of the bigger base, but because they can only now. Let's get into the rules. There's a pitch timer. Base is empty. The pitcher has 15 seconds to throw the ball. With runners on, he has 20 seconds to throw the ball. Batter still has to be ready 8 seconds in.
Yeah.
Right? The other rules I've seen for the pitcher is they're not allowed, they can only throw to pick off the runner at first twice. That's it.
I mean, for the most part, I don't think it'll be a problem. With the exceptions of a few guys. Like if you recall, guys like Nomar Garcia-Parra, who used to fix his gloves every pitch,
Yeah.
and he had his routine, right? and it was a lengthy routine before he got back in the box. Or from a pitching aspect, you remember Pedro Baez, who took forever between pitches.
So
I mean, I
yeah.
get it. Guys like Pedro Baez drive you nuts when you're watching the game because you're like, come on, man, will you just pitch the next pitch already? I mean, but those are, like I said, few and far between from one extreme to another. I think for the most part, pitchers will kind of get used to it, but initially they'll feel rushed. I think they'll feel rushed, and also, fatigue also will set in when these pitchers are on the mound and they're going into the late innings and almost 100 pitches, and they're tired, and they usually will kind of take a breather in between pitches and grab the rosin bag and do whatever to kind of buy themselves a little time to get a breather. Now that clock is ticking, and so they have to get back on that rubber and throw the next pitch. So it will factor into it, from a fatigue standpoint. Yeah,
Yeah, I can see that. I've also seen a lot of pictures like Matt Scherzer using that to an advantage because
yeah.
he
He
I
throws
guess the
fast
batter
anyways,
and
right?
the batter called timeout, and
Yeah.
then so he got set already, so he could quick pitch him. So we might see a lot of quick pitches this year. Um, so
Yeah,
there's no more.
depending on the
Yeah,
players' routines, some
yeah.
some have their routines, and it's hard for them to kind of break out of that. So, but they're gonna have to adjust. There's gonna have to be an adjustment period, and
I think
it
they've
is
been
what it is.
adjusting just fine though, and they're for the spring ball on the spring ball. So there's no more shifts, which is great.
You really
Now
you're okay with that?
and I hated the shift, anti
You
shift.
know, I'm kind of on both sides of this because I always thought that hey, players should hitters should adjust and learn how to hit
Hit
the
the ball
opposite
the other
side of
way.
the field, right?
Yeah,
I mean, but if we're being honest, there's very few hitters that can actually hit the opposite field, and so I mean the rule change makes sense, given the lack of batters' ability to counter the shift. And mainly, I mean, obviously left-handed hitters, you know. So it's going to be interesting to see, how hitters' numbers change as far as batting average and whatnot, due to the fact that the defense can't do the shift anymore. So
yeah. I think a lot of it also is going to be those plays where it's like, oh, so I think maybe if they want increase in scoring, I want to see how much
well,
scoring goes up.
well,
Kind of like
last year's rules changes, right? When they did away with the DH. I mean, they implemented the DH in the National League rather.
yeah.
That I think brought runs up in the National League, but on the other side of things, it did raise pitchers' ERAs, naturally. So it's kind of a give and take. You got to kind of take the good with the bad.
Yeah. And then we got bigger bases this year. Uh,
Yeah, let me ask
so
you. So since you already went to a game, do the bases look like abnormally big,
no,
or
they probably look about the size of a pizza box.
a piece?
Yeah, pizza box.
Interesting.
Um, let me see if I can pull this up. Let me see where I got it. Can you see that? Can you see that? That's the base.
It looks considerably larger. I mean,
Yeah. So
but it's hard to kind of gauge from a
yeah,
photo, but
yeah. Supposedly what it is distance is ruled by 3 inches from home plate to first base, and from home to third is reduced by 4.5 inches. From first to second and second to third, it's a 4.5, and it's 3 inches from. So basically, what they did was they reduced. So the standard base was 15 inches, and the
mhm.
bigger bases are now 18 inches. So they added 3 inches extra. So and they shortened the distance now. So
Hmm.
it said right here, it says bigger bases required injuries, reduced injuries in events near the bases by more than 13% in the minors last year. So as long as people seem not to be getting injured. So those are the new rules for the upcoming season. So we'll
The
see what
question
happens.
is, can they be removed like Ricky Henderson back in the day used to remove the remember remove the
I we
base?
might. All I know is that the way those things look, they might need a forklift. He might need a forklift
Good
to
old
bring
Ricky
that up.
Henderson.
So, but all right. So let's get into. I got a question real quick before we get into the regular season. Uh, do you think that because of the injuries that we've had now, Freddie Freeman pulled a hammy, Edwin
Oh,
Diaz tears his knee, right? Clayton Kershaw wasn't allowed to pitch. Do you think, and the whole pitching restrictions, for the year they actually do the Classic, they should follow hockey. And hockey takes 2 weeks off during the season, goes to the Olympics, it does their Olympic thing, and it comes back and redeems the season. Since this is what, a 2-week, I want to say this is what, 2-week tournament, right?
2-3 weeks. Yeah.
3 weeks. So instead of having that All-Star game that year, why not have this?
I mean, yeah,
you could postpone the game, postpone the year, start, or if you want to do that, you should start the season earlier. Right?
Yeah,
you could start if you weren't about going too far into November, because it's 162 games. Then once you start the third week of March on that year that you're going to have the Classic, and then you might get better baseball, but people might not get hurt because they'll have that intensity of playing meaningful games, because this is October in March. This has that October feel.
Yeah, I think,
what do you think?
Regardless of when you hold the World Baseball Classic from this day forward, I think a lot of teams will be hesitant to allow their star players to participate because of what's happened to Diaz and what happened to Freeman, more mild injury wise. But the problem is these guys, they want to participate, man. This is a really big deal for some of these players, to represent their countries. And so, I know these teams, they have to compromise and figure something out. But at the end of the day, you can't prevent injuries. They happen. Some of these injuries can take place in spring training, with their regular teams. So, yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky, but they do have to figure something out where it works out for both teams. I mean, for both the national teams that they play for and their teams that pay them.
Yeah.
So I know the Mets. Are, man. I mean, they got to be upset about what happened. I mean, because now their closer is off for the season. They paid him a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
well,
I mean,
not just that. When you think about with Diaz, it was a non-baseball injury, right? Because he was celebrating and they were happy. I mean, so
yeah.
I mean, with
unfortunate.
We got lucky with Freeman, but like years ago, Hanley Ramirez, I think, broke his ankle or something like that. The in the finals, the year he was gonna be the Dodger, right? And he was out for X amount of time because of that, right? And it was like his debut, I think, was halted. But speaking of the Dodgers, they're gonna go without Lux. No Gavin Lux. Fortunately, he
apparently
that was a freak play. His foot got caught. Spike got caught and in the dirt, and he tore his knee. And apparently now they're looking at maybe Mookie Betts playing second base a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Roberts has a lot of flexibility there. You can plug Mookie at second, and we mentioned the rookie James Outman earlier, who's going to be a solid outfielder, great prospect. So I think they'll be fine. They can kind of plug guys in here and there and be okay till Lux comes back. So
yeah, and then you also remember they picked up Miguel Rojas. Who can play shortstop, right, and play a little second base too.
That's right. They also have a pretty solid young player in Miguel Vargas, who's also one of the top prospects in the minors. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, the Dodgers have a nice little balance of veteran players and young players. So Roberts just has to, figure out a way to kind of get these guys playing time.
Yeah, and then as far as the pitching goes, they picked up Noah Syndergaard.
Yep, Thor.
They picked up Shelby Miller. Uh, right now, Dustin May looks to be coming back, and I think when we get closer to the All Star break, we might even get Walker Bueller back.
Yeah, really
So that's
solid
gonna happen.
rotation.
And for a team that cut Trevor Bauer and said let him walk to Japan.
Yeah, I mean they
And
had
said
to cut their losses with
and they
that
had to
whole
say, situation goes, and
yeah.
they still have a decent
Yeah,
rotation.
the pitching rotation, barring any injuries, it's pretty solid, 1 through 5. Um, I mean,
I
and
mean, Kershaw's ERA is a
once you
little
get
up.
into the playoffs, you can go with a 4-man rotation, and be fine. But I think the Dodgers, due to what happened last year, they had all this success during the regular season with the 111 wins, and only to be let down and lose to the Padres in the first round of the playoffs. I think the Dodgers, Dave Roberts rather, is going to really make sure that the older guys get rest. Load managing, so to speak, and kind of not coast through the season, but just kind of get feedback from these veteran guys and say how are you feeling? If you need rest, let me know, because there's young guys that are itching to play. A lot of talented young players, and so hopefully, Roberts does a good job of kind of balancing that, and yeah, kind of making
Well,
sure.
it would be interesting because they now only play their division 13 times. Okay,
Mm,
that's it. The schedule is they're gonna play everybody again. They're gonna play everybody this finally this year, right? I think they'll alternate when it comes to American leagues and stuff, but I overheard on a broadcast that with the schedule coming up, that they're going to play a lot of teams, but they're only going to play their division 13 times this year.
Hmm.
So normally I think it was 19 times they would play their division. So now that's more games to play other teams. So like this year, we play the American League East, and so like we'll be playing the Yankees and we'll be playing the Rays because hopefully in May I'll be trying to go to one of those games together. They play in Tampa here or in St. Pete.
Nice.
So
Nice.
I think I'm trying to go to two of those games. I think I'm trying to go to that Saturday game and possibly that Sunday game. Because Sunday game's at 8. It's a Sunday night game, 8:35, and the 1 o'clock game on Saturday.
Yeah,
May
I've already got
26th.
tickets for August 11th, when the Dodgers will finally retire Fernando Valenzuela's jersey number. So
Yeah.
been waiting for that for a while. So I'm glad that they finally did the
I,
right thing.
I need you to get May 15th and send me a Mookie bobblehead.
Mookie bobblehead. Well,
Look,
I
I
might.
have you know what I mean. I haven't had a new bobblehead since 2016.
It's been a while.
I left LA in 2017, so maybe then
So
I had a new bobblehead.
all the bobbleheads you have, probably Kershaw is the only one still on the roster of all the bobbleheads you have, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's probably just Kersh at this point.
Yeah, I don't
Or
even have
active players.
active players is probably Kershaw. That's you're probably you're very accurate because
Yeah, he's the Lone Ranger from those
in
years.
yeah, because in my cabinet I have all the high guys. So I have the Vinny and the Jaime
Nice.
and the quartet, you know, and the Ron Says and have I even have a Babe Ruth one in there. but from when he was a Brooklyn Dodger
That's
coach.
got to be worth some money.
So I have those ones.
Yeah.
Those are stored away, and then I have the ones that I
Maybe
call
on
it
eBay.
and then I call it the I was a Dodger shelf, and that's everybody else. Everybody else. So I think I gotta probably take Kershaw and put him in the in the cabinet, because every time I put him on there, cause I think he's done, and then he comes back.
I think this is going to be his last rodeo.
Yeah, I
So
think
hopefully, he rides into the sunset with another World Series win. Hopefully. Yeah.
So and then the Dodgers are gonna play the Central. So you're gonna go to you're playing Minnesota, and you're playing. So you're gonna play the AL Central and I think the AL Central and the AL East, and I guess the West. So you're gonna play everybody this year. I'm looking at it right now. You're gonna play the White Sox. You're gonna play the Astros. You're gonna play the Royals. Hey, they're at Kansas City. Maybe I'll take a trip over there. Go see a Super Bowl trophy.
You had to throw that in there, huh? You just had to throw that in there. Very slick. Very slick.
You see how that works? But July 1st, July 2nd, and in that last day of June, maybe I'll go to get some tickets and go to Missouri. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see all these games that they get to play this year. My prediction. What's your prediction for the Dodgers? How many wins?
Well,
coming off a great year last year.
Last year, I'm not going to focus so much on the number of wins, because as we learned last year, it's kind of irrelevant if you don't do anything in the playoffs when it matters. So, like I said, I think Dave Roberts is kind of going to pace himself and give the veterans some load managing time. I think they will win less games in the regular season. I think maybe 90 plus wins this year. 90 plus.
I got them winning 95 win games.
But
95 wins.
Division. Well, I'm going to go with let's say 90.
I got 95 wins.
Yeah, that's a good guesstimate. Yeah, they'll be in the 90 win category.
95 wins win the division.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough with the Padres, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I think they do have a good outside chance of winning the division again. I mean, how many years in a row have we won the division already?
We have won the division. I believe it was 9 out of 10. The
whole decade, pretty much.
9 out of 10.
We've only come away with one championship, which is just it's sad. I mean, really, when you think about it. So Roberts has a lot of pressure on him, just to say the least. Regular season success, that's great. The 111 wins last year, but I think this year the Dodgers are focused on a World Series, not so much the regular season. As long as they do enough to get a wild card, that's fine with me. If it means that they have a deep run, into the playoffs. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out, man. Baseball, such a long, grueling season that
Dodgers have won.
You gotta pace yourself.
They have 9 titles out of 10 years. So.
Yeah, and only one World Series to show.
And one World Series to show
has
for
a lot of pressure on him.
And it was a 60-game season.
Yeah,
which I'm telling you right now is probably the hardest season ever. Probably harder than the 162-game season. It's just that people don't want to respect it. I respect it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's going to have that asterisk, because people will obviously point that out. I mean we've seen that in other sports.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers winning their championship.
Bubble championship.
People always point that out, the Disney championship, but
the Mickey Mouse.
Like you said, I think it's more difficult. But unfortunately, most fans don't respect a championship when it's won in that fashion. So I hope the Dodgers can win one the traditional route and the conventional way this year. And like I said, hopefully Kershaw can ride into the sunset with another World Series. So
Okay.
we'll see.
So prediction time in October. Who's going to play a championship?
I mean, last year I had probably the greatest rivalry in baseball, Dodgers and Yankees. This year I am going to go with I'm going to be a homer and go with my Dodgers in the World Series. Because like I said, I think they're really focused in on reaching the World Series and not so consumed with the regular season so much. They're going to focus on the big task at hand, and that's the World Series. And I think the Dodgers will reach the World Series. And I think that on the American League side, we're gonna have a little rematch, a little revenge with the Houston Astros, who I think will be representing the American League. So I have the Astros and the Dodgers in the World Series. How about you, my friend?
Well, I'm gonna go homer as well. Pick my Dodgers to win to go to the World Series. And last year I went with Chicago. I went with the White Sox, and they had a horrible, horrible, horrible year because they couldn't stay healthy, right? They couldn't stay healthy. But I'm gonna say I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna think it's gonna be Houston versus LA. If it's a slight chance that Toronto can somehow get healthy, maybe they could. Because I got Toronto winning the division. I think Toronto Blue Jays win the East. They got to get obviously Guerrero Jr. back. I don't know what the Yankees. I don't know what the Yankees as far as what they did. I don't think Judge is going to have the season that he had last year.
He got paid already, so he's good. Yeah. He already got paid.
And Boston is under the radar again. And Tampa's right there. So I think Toronto. This is the year that Toronto wins the division. And the Central, I think I'm gonna go with the Guardians. I think the Guardians win that division again. In the West, yes. Wow. In the AL West, I'm gonna take obviously Houston. Houston will win that division. And in the NL East, I'm gonna take the Braves. I think the Braves are quietly staying right there. Everybody's talking Phillies. They were talking Mets. They're talking Phillies and Mets. Maybe not Mets anymore. They got a closer. As far as the Central goes, you can't go without St. Louis. For some reason, St. Louis Cardinals always finds a way to get the Central. Milwaukee might have a shot, but I don't think they will. And I think the Dodgers will win the West. And as far as my wild card teams go, I like the Brewers and the Padres as far as the NL wild cards. And in the American League, I'm going to take the Yankees and probably the Twins. So
pretty good picks. Pretty good picks. But yeah, man, if it ends up being the Dodgers and the Astros in the World Series, they're going to have to remove all the trash cans. Remove all the trash.
Do you think so? Do you don't think that the Dodger fans have already said, whatever, it's been 6 years?
No, we're not going to let it go. Huh? They're not going to let it go. Never.
So, I mean, 6 years, been 6 years now.
No? Well, at least I haven't forgotten that.
Oh, I agree. That was the cap, I was on my way out and I was like, cool, Dodgers are going to win the World Series.
Altuve, that little midget.
I mean, that one, Boston, can't stand those two teams, those two World Series. But
yeah. Well, I guess if you're not cheating, you're not trying, right?
According to Eddie Guerrero, late and great Eddie Guerrero, you lie, you cheat, you steal. So, but on that note, I want to say thank you everybody for listening, watching. We'll be back soon. We'll talk a little baseball here and there. Coastal Bros will be back sometime. I don't know. I get the boys together. Figure it out. We'll see who wins the NCAA Sports Daddy TV bracket. El Toro's trying to defend his championship.
That's right.
So
UCLA.
we'll see what happens. I got UCLA too, buddy. So I got
going
UCLA
all the way.
Going all the way.
Oh wow! You know what? I had them going all the way last year, and they let me down. Jaime Jaques and the boys let me down. But I do have them. I have them going deep into the tournament. I think I have them losing in the Final Four. I do have Alabama playing Houston in the championship, and I have the home team, Houston, winning it all. The Houston Cougars.
Is that you?
Phi Slamma Jamma.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. So yeah. I have UCLA beating Alabama.
Ooh. Hey, man, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. From your lips to God's ears, my friend, I hope you're right. I hope you're right, and I'm wrong on this one, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to knock, Houston is pretty solid.
UCLA, yeah, I have UCLA 76, Alabama 67. So,
Hey, and before we go off the air, since my Mexico is playing your Puerto Rico, how about a little friendly wager?
Sounds good. What you want?
Hey man, what is your drink of choice?
Well, we're gonna go adult drink or drink of drinks.
Hey, if you want a tequila bottle, man, that's we'll make sure that we ship that baby out to Florida.
Let's see.
Let's go with Capri Suns.
Capri Suns.
All right, I'll tell you what. Soccer mom drink of choice.
Soccer mom's drink choice is Coke Zero. I like Coke Zero, so I will do my 6-pack of Coke Zero or a 12-pack Coke Zero. I'll bet my 12-pack of Coke Zero.
I'll take some Gatorades, cucumber flavor, pepino.
Cucumber Gatorade, sugar free or no sugar?
Buys it. I think I'm the only one that buys it, man.
Sugar free.
I'm the only person that buys the cucumber Gatorade flavor. I don't know why nobody likes it.
Sugar free?
No. I want the real thing, man. Don't give me that artificial stuff. Give me that real cane sugar, man.
Okay, you give me the Coke Zero. We'll do Coke Zero versus
azúcar de caña, coño. Azúcar de caña.
There we go. And since I'll be up, and since the game starts at 7, I can watch the whole game without falling asleep. So I'll be here watching the game, be texting you back and forth.
I'll be texting you. I'll be bugging you.
So. But anyways, thanks everybody for watching. Have a great day, and we will see you guys later.
Go Dyers and Mexico.
Go Puerto Rico.